Okay, we're back.
All right.
We're
We're
back.
back. We ended off last time with Zeha. We kind of watched this last scene play out again as Zeha hits the final button just as her body immediately slumps to the ground. Blue light shoots across her headband, dying out towards the end of the headband, and on the screen you see root access gained. I want to open it up. I haven't really let any of the conversations go too much behind scenes, both because the players weren't super adamant about having them, which is good, like good on them, honestly, and I wanted them to be available for the listeners. So let's open it up with what they would know, what the players would know about Zeha in terms of like, because so Starfinder is very deep in the lore and everything, and like especially like the lore of ancestries and like this is what we do when we die. This is how you handle it. Blah blah blah. So like, what would all of them know about Zeha?
Yeah, and this is something that we touched a little bit upon last session, but I honestly don't remember how much we went into it. So in terms of what Zeha had, and one of the things that I like thought of and had mentioned to Waffles as well, or Waffles mentioned to me, we've been together as a group longer than necessarily like we've had sessions together like as players for this campaign, right? Like these people have been together for a couple months and things like that, so there is conversations we can assume happen in general off screen and off camera.
Yeah, very specifically, I can think of like a couple nights here and there spent like at Absalom Station and stuff, but you guys also spent like a month here and a month there in the Drift.
Right.
And like they're like a month on a spaceship stuck with 5 people. Like you guys are gonna have some combos.
Right.
I doodled in my room the whole time.
and definitely given like the intense situations that we've been in, I do feel like we would know a little bit about death wishes and death traditions in general. So definitely with the Kasatha, which is the ancestry that Zeha is, they have this building on the Adari that she vaguely told you about. Less about the building and more about their procession for death, which is that bodies should be brought back to the Adari. So that they can do their ceremonial like death traditions. You do know that it does have to do with taking a slice of their brain and keeping it like eternalized forever. And there is some very interesting like I don't know how much she would have gone into it, but I do think that like relatively common knowledge, like especially with dealing with this ghost forge where there is this like aspect of reincarnation, that is not what happens with the brain slice, and there's a term for it that I'm not using and I apologize.
No, I like brain slice.
Yeah, I'll just keep using brain slice. So what it is though is it's a retention of memories. It's a retention of a part of this person, because the Kasatha really believe in gathering your own traditions and gathering your own like view of the world, and that is how you decide to live your life, and that is what you pass down. So they take aspects of like who you were and your memories and use that to learn and to gain knowledge and things like that. So that's more about the Kasatha. And then in terms of Zeha, she definitely told you that like should anything happen, like definitely bring her back to the Adari, so that at the very least she can be done proper for her culture and her people.
All right. So, any questions from the player side before we get heavy into what might or might not happen on this potential death?
I loot her body.
No.
You find.
Let's go!
We've reversed the credit transfers and take the money back.
I think she has the most money.
That's true.
She has a fair chunk, but
So at some point, obviously we talked about death and how like
dialed in people are to their own cultures and everything like that. I think of the group of us, the one that's still most in tune with their own culture would have been Zeha. So did Zeha ever have... Would Zeha had ever mentioned doubts or potentially wanting to get out of the grooming, as you might be able to call it, of being the Madaloon? Is that something that Zeha would be like, given the opportunity, I just live my life? Would she have ever expressed that to us?
Oh, wow. That's a fantastic question. To be honest, no. Like, I think any conversations regarding like the Madaloon, being the prospective Madaloon, you've met her her mother, and you've met sort of the Ramsemten Council. So when she spoke of it, she spoke that was her duty, and she definitely seemed to believe in that wholeheartedly. She also, it was, I think, relatively apparent, and whether that's through, like, I don't know how much she verbally said this as much as just very obvious from the conversations, that she wanted to do her grandmother proud. Like, her grandmother in particular was everything to her. The pressure was put onto her by her mother. But she never expressed doubt of, like, not potentially wanting to do that. She just was just like, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this right. I cannot fail. Like, she whether through, like, how much of it is healthy, that's a different conversation, but 100% she put that pressure on herself at that point as well.
Do we have any notion from talking to her how Zeha would feel being put in a robot body right now, if that were hypothetically possible?
So, as you, like, kind of in line with the whole, like, she has to be the Madaloon, she has to succeed. I can't say that, hey, do you want to be in a robot body, has ever come up.
Weirdly, that might have actually come up.
But you'd think that being the Madaloon and being what she is, she's a performer on stage. She's also very, like, visually, like, she always cared how she looked and things like that. You'd think that would be very, very, very difficult for her, if at all anything she would want, to be honest.
Okay,
like,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that it would
It's a
have to
solution.
be temporary? Like, no matter what, it would have to be temporary if she was in a robot body?
Yeah, like if she would not be willing to stay like that. Like, if she found herself suddenly in a robot body, she'd be like, no, where's my body?
So why not both? Now we can break out Dr. Duro and get the Zeha arc going. Robo Zeha.
That's a good idea.
I know.
Now there is a thing where
just
we do
gotta
have
break
the
into a
robot
max security
schematics. Like,
prison.
we could make an aesthetically, like, almost identical version of Zeha.
Yeah, with our vast resources
Ow.
available to us.
We have to make sure it has 4 arms.
Thank you.
Oh,
We
Yes.
put 5. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we have the schematics, so all we need is a robot expert. I wonder where we could find one. That maybe
You have to
escapes from,
remember where we are. Honestly,
Right.
the potentialities of what to go from here, I'm gonna leave for Waffles to curate.
Right.
But in terms
Let's
of
just
the
leave her
immediacy
unrefrigerated
of
for a month.
right now, I think, am I wrong in, like, analyzing the situation in front of us, Waffles? Zeha just slumped dead on the floor of the Ghost Forge. She is not connected to the Ghost Forge. Unless
No.
something happens that I don't even know, like, for all intents and purposes, there's nothing that's capturing her. This is where it gets funky, but, like, soul or whatever you want to call it.
Plus, I mean, technically she wants her body back at home. She didn't say she wouldn't take it herself back home. So it's like a win-win.
Nice. All right.
Mom, can you hold this?
All right. Starting the play button on the story. You guys watch Zeha's body slump to the ground. What are you all doing?
Len rushes over and checks for a pulse.
Without a medicine check, she is dead.
What about with one?
With a medicine check, she is.
She's alive.
She's oddly dead. There's no bullet wound or anything. She's just dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. She's dead.
I think as soon as those words leave your lips, you can tell that the light in the room goes way up. Like the level of anxiety that Eisen is feeling just goes up to like the brightest he's ever been in terms of like emotional spike. Because Shimmerines can't cry. They don't have any sort of like emotional stuff. It's all energy and rocks. So it's all light and sound. So it's just like
jokes aside, like this sounds like a joke when I played it in my head, but it's not. I love how Eisen is basically an anxiety lamp.
I mean, yeah, he is basically, yes.
He is literally mood lighting.
Yep.
Not that I'm trying to make myself cry, but given this exact moment where Dr. Len says she's dead, can I selfishly ask for what is going through each of your heads? I know you kind of mentioned it briefly to me, but I would love that to be shared.
Yeah, I'll call on each of you. Carrot.
Wow. I was gonna say, Tetsu, when she stepped up, because his gripe with Zeha, he's always found that she puts like her mission is number one, which is fine, but like he also feels that like, hey, you got to look out for some of these people that are involved. Like he didn't like how the Queen thing went around, and like that's why he stepped up for Dole, and said no, Dole's not going first. At the very least, let's see if I can get through some of this. But Tetsu seen Zeha kind of do the risky play, which, okay, maybe she's not the greatest at math, and going, this might be a risk. But to be fair, like, it was also like the last major gap. But like, he felt proud that, you know, she was deciding to put her mission like at risk, basically. And it's not good for her mission, and he doesn't necessarily think about achieving like my end goal the most. He kind of lives in the moment. So for him, to him, that's character growth for her in his world view, right? Maybe it's not for her, but for him, like that's a step forward. Good job. And then when she died, he's like, why with the hand? But when he now as he's realizing she's dead, it's kind of like that. He's still processing it, but like it was a noble thing, and he's sad, but you know, it's one of those good deaths.
Yeah, from a warrior point of view, it was like a warrior's death. I mean, it was hacking and stuff, but it like she stepped up. Yeah, she stepped up and died, like trying to do something for y'all, basically.
To put it kind of like Tetsu right now, how many hit points max do you have right now?
So many. I'm good
5?
for another go. 5.
I think.
Yeah. Just went... Zeha's the hacker. Tetsu just went hacking into this computer, literally pieces of his life, siphoning away each hack, and she steps forward and slumps to the ground. Like, yeah, you must be like exhausted and processing very, very slowly and kind of like figuring it all out.
Yeah, he's also getting up in the process, but we're kind of doing a snapshot of thoughts.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah, I'm planning on doing something with them. But
Dr. Lin.
Like, I think like at this immediate moment, Len's mostly in shock because it was like so unexpected, but that's also because like he was the one that was going to like at least try first, and he will probably, most definitely, like, well, knowing my luck, maybe not, but most likely would have been fine. And then, like, with Zeha just coming in and, like, asking to take over, like, even though it wasn't really, like, his permission to give out, he was still, like, the one that was going to do it and then handed the reins over to Zeha.
You let her down.
So, at least it's not me. But so he figured honestly she'd totally be fine just because she was oozing confidence up until the light left her eyes. So it's at the immediate moment, it's super shocking that this just out of nowhere death happened. But give him like probably 5-10 more minutes, and like he'll start to just be racked with the fact that like he totally should have been more firm in his like, no, hold on, wait, like let me go first, and if things get bad, then like we'll use your skills. Like,
Yeah.
that he could have at least tried to do something differently and prevented it in its entirety.
Yeah, that's why I
For
took
sure.
him in first. He's like, I'm meat shield. I can tank these first couple.
All right, Mo.
This is definitely rough for Moat. So, like, at the outset, Moat didn't really trust that anybody had as much skill as they did in computers and technology and all that kind of stuff. But as the group has worked through issues, they've come to respect that Zeha's genuinely just a really good computer expert and holds her skill at the same level as theirs, if not higher. So after all these recent encounters where Moat has been made plainly aware how mortal they are and how close to death they've scraped at every turn, seeing Zeha go up to this, something that is her forte, and just drop, it is shattering for the confidence that Moat had in themselves. They think, if she can't do it, how the fuck can I? It doesn't make any sense anymore. Like, this is our best, and she got access, but she just died. And Moat is going through a list of like, we can't dive deeper into this. We've got to start cutting and running because we're about to risk a whole lot more than just our captain.
Well, she's given us route access, right? We don't need to worry about the security anymore.
Potentially.
Yep.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Potentially. We haven't
We'll
got
see.
into that. I see Serbo there about to cry. All right, Eisen.
Eisen's stomach has dropped out. Long story short.
You don't have one.
Metaphorically, his stomach has dropped out. Like, to put it into perspective, he doesn't do anything with computers. In fact, he is so worried about touching a computer and something going wrong that he has actively stayed away at any opportunity in which, like, high-level computers have come into contact with the group.
Like that +2 that could have saved her life. Yeah.
So,
Rough.
so watching Zeha going into this room, he was already nervous that something bad was going to happen. That's why he was pushing for Tetsu to go first, and for Tetsu to take the brunt of it, and for like certain scenarios to happen so that as much risk could be mitigated as possible. That didn't happen. Once we got in the room and Tetsu started taking massive damage, he realized that wouldn't quite work like he planned it. And so he had to just stay silent and watch, because he knew if he tried to say anything in that moment, when they were going into a battlefield that he couldn't even enter, he could possibly either jinx them or say something that broke their concentration that could lead to a lot of damage. And so he just had to kind of silently stand there and pace and hope that nothing went wrong. And then all of a sudden, Zeha drops like a stone, and I think he watches 2 people die in that moment, and his mind can't quite handle it for like the split second before he completely goes into cold, analytical, oh god, I need to like crisis aversion mode, as like his dread and anxiety is just starting to build, and he's probably starting to hear a little bit of a ringing in his ears, as like the light level has gone so high that everyone can probably hear his like crystal
The
starting to ring.
energy is like vibrating at like a frequency.
Exactly, that literally people can slightly hear.
Yeah.
Sing.
Like just before a light bulb bursts, you hear that
Exactly.
little whine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Eisen's
Yup.
gonna explode.
No.
Eisen's about to explode, and
yet.
he's holding a nuke. Okay.
Yeah, my
Don't.
favorite like little imagery that I just like I'm playing in my head is the fact that like there's this moment of the like kind of so to what Carrick you said, Zeha has been about her end goal, her personal end goal always. She's like, okay, I need to do my tasks. This task is to get to that task. Okay, we're doing this task, and like just going from there and very like hyper focused on that, to the point where she has gotten into like social altercations, like social like bumping heads with some of the crew because they're like, where are your priorities and things like that. And I don't think she even realized, because she's experiencing the world for the first time, and something that I really want to like show and just bring some focus to is this is the equivalent. Zeha is her first time off ship. This is what they call what's it called? Their what is that?
I know the word you're looking for, but I forgot it. It's like they're a pilgrimage almost. It's like their first journey out into the world
Tempering.
kind of thing. There you go. Yeah.
This is her tempering. And the equivalent of that is like someone going off to college for the first time and being alone for the first time. Okay, so
That Amish year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The Amish year is
so
exactly.
So she's relatively naive. She's like a 20-something-year-old. She's like 20, 21 maybe.
That's what I was about to say. Up until the moment she met y'all, she was a pure kid that had never left the Adari unless she was holding her mom's hand. Like,
let's go get some drinks.
But she was trained to lead, and she was trained to be the face and things like that. So it made sense that she was captain and everything after everything that we had talked about. But at the same time, she's very young and she's very naive. And I don't think she even realized the connections she was forging with all of you. Right? She was still like mission. But throughout all of this, she cared for all of your lives. And so it's not until she saw literally people's max health, like, going down in front of her eyes, right? Like the equivalent of what that looks like, their life being drained from them. She, for once, like Tetsu brought up, made the decision for the team and not for anything else. And that was the first time that she suddenly heard her grandmother's voice. And so there's something there too, but at the same time, like, she stepped forward, in their eyes, you said, like, with full confidence. Dr. Len, too. With this confidence as she goes, and she's like, oh, I can fucking do this. This is my jam. And then she hears her grandmother's voice, and she's just thrown off. And
Grandma killed you.
and then she misses it. She misses it by 2. And yes, she's this close, so I think there's a lot of just like that naivety, that first time making potentially the right decision,
That'll learn you.
resulting in this is fascinating to me.
Now,
and what?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and everything you just said right there of like your first act of like companionship and all of that, going so far south is Eisen's worst nightmare, because he comes from a background of protecting someone who is almost exactly in Zeha's position, and so seeing you fail like that is just like crushing Eisen in a way that he can't even describe right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Carrot, get your last thing up.
Well, it wasn't about this. It was about.
Is it about the game itself?
Yes.
Okay. So like we are right now, like a movie, playing that very important scene for the 3rd, 4th time, just to really hit it home. You see Zeha's body slumped to the ground.
Different angle.
What are you guys
Spider-Man
doing? Yep.
Did Tetsu see that blue shine from the headband?
I feel like all of you did if you were watching Zeha's body slump to the ground.
All right. I have 2 things I want to do. First, like a computer check. Is that some kind of like neural thing?
I need a mysticism check.
Okay.
I'll give you a computer's waffles.
And you got to be trained in it.
Oh, well, my 2 wasn't really going to pull it off anyway, so...
Yeah. It's definitely not a neural thing, I can tell you that, just like based on your computer skill, period. It's the most you can get out of it is like seeing that light. Sure, there's probably some technology in there, but it's also intertwined with magic, and it's just not something you can touch.
I think everybody knows that her headband always lit up when she casts her spells.
Yeah, but this happened when you died, so...
Yeah.
He wasn't sure if, like, gotcha.
She cast Feign Death.
Yeah, basically. And then, like, the second thing is Tetsu he's been, like, laying on the floor watching, just exhausted. And then as soon as she falls and, like, Len says that, like, exhausted as he is, he doesn't look it as he just, like, kind of just is up and by the computer and seeing that he has no idea what that headband does. This is the console to the Ghost Forge. The Ghost Forge brings things back, and he doesn't know if there's like a time frame or anything weird going on, but he is instantly searching this computer. It's been draining life or something. That's what it feels like, which means to him, it's taking essence, storing it somewhere. Maybe it's using it, but is there like a short window in which we can go, give me that data back, give me that data back? And it's just like trying to call Zeha back. Or at least get his max HP back to where it should be. One of those 2 or either of them are good.
For sure. What are the rest of y'all doing?
As soon as Zeha dropped him, Len mentioned that she was dead. Moat just kind of froze, staring at her, wanting to look back at the computer, but honestly a little afraid to. And then as Tetsu moves to the computer, Moat will rush to stand in front of him and just say, No, you don't go back onto that thing.
Oh, he's
No
tiny.
more.
They're tiny. He gets run over.
Oh, my lungs! Oh, don't you feel so bad?
Moat's dead now. No.
I'm just
Now
kidding. Don't
Moat
say that.
dies.
It's a bad taste in this. But
Just for scene's sake, do you like? You can tell that Tetsu is trying to run you over. Do you still try to stop him?
I'm not trying to run him over. I'm just trying to get to the computer.
I mean, I assume it's just like
Moat was going to
really,
stand in
really-
front of you, so.
Yeah, I was going to stand in front, but as like it registers that he's not stopping, Moat will scoot off to the side, but then just like grab onto his pant leg and just hold. I get dragged along the way all they can, but just saying, don't, as
Help
he's going.
look
You're-
or do not hinder.
You're both like over or awkwardly standing like between Zeha's body because that's where she fell.
Do you want comfort or life? I
Zeha's
can do
getting
either
kicked
of
around.
them.
I don't know. You said 36 health points to trade for me.
I didn't say whose life.
All right, Dr. Lynn Horizon.
If I may,
No.
seeing these 2 rush to the computer, acting on instinct. I don't have my armor on right now. I'm holding this bomb, but I'm going to put the bomb down, and I'm going to pick up Zeha's body because I have like super speed. Like I have, before they even get a chance to like possibly step on her, I have like princess carried her away from where.
For listeners' sake, it's not an actual bomb. Just to say that it is what was powering the Ghost Forge. It's basically like a power core with what they know is dolium inside it.
Waffles, it's a literal nuke.
It is known to be not, what's that word?
Volatile.
Unstable.
Volatile, yeah, that's the word. It's known to be volatile for sure.
Waffles, have you not been doing hours of nuclear research?
My nuclear research does not deal with nuclear bombs. It's a reactor that's not supposed to blow up.
Well, Chernobyl wasn't supposed to blow up either, so you should brush up on the failure part.
I'm not trying to like
I know
ruin the
all
mood
that,
of the
trust me.
scene, but I just want to say that I was working today, and I definitely heard from the other side of this room Waffles go, "Sorry, I just waiting and sitting and watching this video of this nuclear power plant blow up."
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Okay.
I don't think he's
You
learning
set it
what
down.
he needs to at school.
You set it down as Tetsu's running. You see Moat kind of holding Tetsu's leg, saying no. You see Dole kind of froze in the moment, start to head towards that Dolium core to pick it up, as if like he doesn't want it to be rolling somewhere and somebody needs to be holding it, but he's not going to go pick up Zeha's body right now. Dr. Lin, what do you do? As Eisen
Len
is picking
was-
up Zeha's body.
Len was just kind of like zoned out for the moment when like Eisen approached, and then like him stealing Zeha away kind of like snapped him out of it. And as he does so, Len's like kind of like shakily like tapping through his like wrist mounted like medical computer thing, like, and just kind of going through the motions of like pronouncing Zeha's death. Like he's a doctor, this is what he does.
You have a file on all of us, and you're like, finally, I can enter one in.
Let's go! Now,
Bingo!
My first registered death as a non-doctor.
let's make some more.
He pulls out a stamp card and takes like a fingerprint just to be like, ooh, I can add this to like the
No.
doctor stamp
He
card.
very
One of those
subtly
envelope
slides
stamps and just
the hat off. Shit.
But yeah, he's just like 10:33, like loss of consciousness and confirmed death, blah 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 blah. And
yeah, loss of consciousness.
like it's very out of place for like an obviously supposedly emotional situation, but he doesn't sound like he's keeping it together well.
All right. With that, I'm gonna try to do something on the fly. Tell me if this breaks your ears.
Oh God.
How is this? Does this sound weird? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't hear anything.
I don't like what
No,
you're
it's his
about
voice.
to do.
Yeah,
his voice
voice
is like
changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Zeha, you
Or
open
did.
your eyes, but around you is not your crew. You don't hear the droning of the Ghost Forge, and you don't see the computer in front of you, as you expect to. Instead, you see an empty, white room. So empty, you can't tell that there's a floor, walls, a ceiling. You hear a voice echo throughout the room and in your head, resonating through every cell in your body. Young one, why are you here?
Do I know?
Know what?
Like, what just happened to me? Like, why I'm here? To answer that question?
Give me a intelligence check or a mysticism. I'll let you make either. Intelligence is going to be a lower DC, but they're probably going to be around the same like success rate.
Yeah. Let's do I think her go-to is going to be like, is there something mysticism about this? So 17 mysticism.
Okay, that's a natural 7. You have a hero point you want to use it here?
Yeah, use
No, 17's okay.
Okay. I'll say you definitely remember that you were hacking into the computer, but you don't exactly remember what happened from that. With your mysticism check, you definitely know that the computer you remember like in your head that the computer didn't have the capabilities to cast a spell on you, like it's not modifying your memory, or it doesn't have you under a dream state or something.
Right.
So with that, you like assume you are really here.
I don't know. Where am I? Who are you?
You find yourself on the precipice of life and death, magic and technology. existence in oblivion.
I'm no, there, no, I can't be, there. She's like looking around and starting to panic, like.
And it's just white everywhere, as if like, again, there's no corners to the room. It just goes forever, and you don't even, like, you look down and you don't even realize that you're standing on a floor. You're just there.
She's kind of like shielding her eyes from like the brightness of the white, and at some point she kind of like, wherever she was, she turns around behind her and just starts to try to like run what she feels is backwards, and she's just kind of calling out like that there has to be some mistake, and just starts running.
Sure. And I don't know how many people have played Max Payne, but I imagine this is like a Max Payne scene. So like there's a scene where he is running through one of his dreams where some bad stuff happened, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into that. But all you do is you just see this slow motion, and you see it's like footsteps making feet print. But if you go the wrong way, you like recircle back on your own feet print. And that's kind of what it's like for Zeha. Like right now, she's just running, and you realize through something, whether it's the mysticism check or intelligence or something, that for all intents and purposes, you're running back on yourself after about 3 steps.
Please. There's a mistake, please.
Do you know why you are here? We are unsure. You are not supposed to be here.
I don't want to be here. Can I go back, please?
What are you guys doing, players?
Typing at a computer and looking down to Moat and basically kind of reiterating again. I'm seeing if there's anything left of Zeha in this computer that was draining us while there is time. You either help or you stay out of the way. I will not stop.
You're a fucking idiot if you think you're the one that needs to be in here after what you took on. Move.
And you may type. Oh. Tetsu will step aside.
Hey, I've seen this episode before.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Roll the same rolls again.
Zeha looks around.
Like
What are you
Grandma's
doing
Day.
here?
What are you trying to do, Mo?
So I know that the last thing Zeha managed to do was to grant root access.
Yep.
We knew that there was within the admin access branch, we knew that there was a way to remove the damage. In Moat's mind, that potentially has what Tetsu might be looking for. The method to return that energy. So Moat initially wants to look within this newly accessed admin folder to see what there is without delving too deep until more people are around to provide aid. But Tetsu can tell that Moat is shaky at this. It's mentally not all there, but they're in their element with computers, so it's still going to go relatively smoothly.
And
For sure.
Tetsu's watching to make sure he knows Zeha and Moat are the better computer people, but he knows enough about computers that if Moat is being too hesitant or non-committal, and it looks like there is an access that needs to be pressed, and Moat doesn't take it, Tetsu is kind of looking out for that so he can step in and make sure we go forward. Because in Tetsu's mind, this whole system uses energy, and it's been stealing energy. So if any energy is taken in, then presumably it's going to get used up real quick. So he assumes there's a ticking clock of how quickly this can. He doesn't know if there's anything that can be done, but time he imagines would be in the essence.
Can I just make a random comment that how wild is it that of all places for Zeha to die, she's literally died in a room that brings people back.
You think it wouldn't be a problem, right? Be like, shit, she's dead. Oh well.
Come on, just turn the
Wait
machine
5
on.
minutes.
I
Hit
mean,
enter.
at least you weren't the first one. Jish has that prize.
Oh.
I mean, we did unplug its power source, to be fair, so we have to give it a new, we have to change
Well,
the power source.
No, this is an additional power source for additional function. Because it functions without this.
Yeah, it
But
functioned
no, the power
originally.
source was hooked up to.
Yeah, like originally the Ghost Forge was without this extra Dolium core.
Yep.
But Waffles mentioned it
okay.
now needs the Dolium core, and we can fix that.
right.
Because of the code. So,
Yeah.
Mo, make me a computer check real quick.
Can I as well? Or at least help? Aid?
You can aid. You can. It won't allow you to both make a computer check.
Well, I mean, just to make sure he's doing everything he can.
Unless you push them out of the way.
I got a 28.
24. So 26 with the aid.
Okay. Cool. 26 with the aid, you have root access. I'll ask before I go into this. What was the reason for going through all the trouble to gain root access? There was a very specific reason you get. Obviously it was
Doesn't
to
hurt
not
us.
continue. Yeah, to not
Yeah.
continue getting hurt. But it was I remember the line being said of we need to do this, right?
We
Boom,
want to
that kind of thing.
rework the code to work without the Dolium core. We want to erase the 5-year kill limit, and we want to potentially reach into the reincarnate range that's in the operational section of the code. So if we're having slight conversation as we're diving into this admin section, Moat is going to lay out, I believe if we can find the way to return energy, that's fine. Remove the damage, that's fine. But the only other things we need to do are make it work without the core and increase the range. Other than that, we can come back later if we need to do more. Or someone else can do it.
Horse. Reverse the energy first. And quickly.
That's where we are, that's what we're looking at.
There was one more thing that I think you said to us as players, not to the characters themselves, but you said that if we could get root access, that theoretically the damage that was done to us throughout the process would be undone. There was a possibility of that.
Yep. So that is definitely all of y'all assume that is attached to reversing the energy.
You said that it would recognize the person that got past them as a allowed person or something like that. Like a registered user is someone who got all the way
Right.
through.
Yeah, so y'all basically anyone that can access the computer, and that may have been poor wording. Basically anyone that can access the computer under root access right now is a quote unquote registered user and has access to the files that you would need to reverse that kind of damage and be yo, hold on, I'm supposed to be here, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're in this admin folder with your computer's check mode, you have access to basically everything we just talked about: the reversing the damage, getting the range higher, etc., etc. One thing comes into your mind, and looking through the files, You don't see any kind of backdoor way to try to get Zeha back to her body, and the one thing that comes to your mind is she is not attuned to the Ghost Forge. And her being dead, like now that you're in the admin folder, you see that all of you could attune to the Ghost Forge. She cannot.
I have a question. Kind of looking over her shoulder and helping. Looking at this, a bit of Zeha went into the computer. Can I basically go identify this energy source and identify it as a user? Like, potentially there's still essence Zeha zipping around some circuit or something that I could like attune that energy to the computer, or have direct mote towards that.
I'll tell you, if you're going to go that far, you're getting into the code itself. Like you're attempting to hack further. People are going to kill me as a GM. Root access is about as far as you can get. This is a magical code. You're basically trying to go beyond root access, and you are actually hacking into the code itself at this point. And I mean, think Matrix style, like there's a bunch of numbers and letters on the screen, and you're trying to literally manipulate a magical code at that point. And basically anyone, I guess you don't know, you would assume even with root access that is dangerous.
Do I think I could do it? Like, is it a computer's check or a mysticism, do I think?
Dude.
Is it also like the same?
I'm just checking.
Like DC is root access. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't be the same DC as root access. I'm not going to give you all the DC, and it's going to be. I had already planned for this if I was alive, so I'll tell you what it'll be. I'll let you make the mysticism untrained. It is a mysticism and computers averaged out.
Oof.
So you'll roll both, and you'll add them together, divide by 2, basically.
You're good. We're good at that, right, guys?
Yeah, guys. There's somebody else that's really good at the mysticism. Anybody? No.
Mystic's in your name, Seth.
Yeah, I mean it's in my name. Not this character.
So we're right here right now with Moat and Tetsuya. Dr. Lin and Eisen. Y'all do anything?
I have not put Zeha down since I picked her up. Knowing what little I know about like medicine as a bodyguard, and I have a few ranks and it's a class skill, I know that like bodies like this can't be like stored for very long. Is there anything I feel I can do with my knowledge of energy or with anything to try to like stretch out whatever, like I need to buy time basically, and I don't want to put her down.
Are you potentially just like a walking defibrillator?
Yeah, basically. I just want to like stretch it like a minute or two. Like I want to give her like a little bit more time.
I'll give you these two pieces of information. Without a roll, just because of who you are and everything you know about energy. You know that if she had a chance to be brought back to life, like a soul put back in a body, you could essentially be a defibrillator. Like honestly, like you had the electrical energy stored in you, and especially with Dr. Lin's help, like you guys could come together, and after the soul gets put back in the body, you guys could make sure that body starts living again. The other option I'll give you, I'm smiling at this one. I will say as a GM, don't jump the gun. Eisen would know that this is like you have a day or two to do this. You could definitely, if you could find a way to emit any kind of cold energy, and you like freeze her head or something, like that would preserve the brain slice. But that would also kill her. Like she would not be coming back to that body, kind of thing.
Fair enough. Okay.
Eisen, it's been like 2 minutes. Freeze the head.
To be fair, she's dead. There is no heartbeat or breath.
Right.
Yeah.
But like it would mutilate. Like the ice crystals would be so large that it would mutilate any chance of like coming back. Yeah.
Basically, you're like cryo freezing her, basically. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Len does like at this point say, "Please put Zeha down so I can determine cause of death."
You'll notice he's never looked in Zeha's face. Like he's cradling her very protectively, but he hasn't ever looked in Zeha's face, and he's just like standing there and doesn't hear that. As you can probably hear
Please put her down.
Like very clearly, Eisen does not compute to whatever that
Put
is.
Zeha down, please.
Like he is like he'll look down at that moment, but be like, I'm what? I'm
Put
sorry.
Zeha down.
And I imagine like at this point you're like pulling him because he's like
No, Len's just like blank jellyfish staring at you.
Then there's just this like awkward stare off for like half a second before like Eisen kneels down so that you can look at her, but he never like puts her directly down on the floor. Like his hands are never leaving Zeha's body in this moment. But
Yeah,
he'll like kneel so that you can do whatever you need to do within that space.
Yeah, then Len will just try and determine what actually like happened, like if what the magic did to kill her.
Give me a medicine check.
You killed her, idiot.
Can I aid? It wouldn't be very high, but
Len does not want your aid.
No.
29.
it's unnecessarily anyway.
I mean, if you had helped, you'd have gotten a 31.
Looking over her, Dr. Lin, it's not like anything you've really ever seen. It's not like you would be able to tell cause of death, heart attack, cause of death, asphyxiation. Like you'd be able to, like, even things that didn't leave a bludgeoning or piercing wound, like you'd be able to tell that. You just look at her, and it seems that for all intents and purposes right now, her body shouldn't be dead. But she's not breathing, her heart's not beating, and she is definitely getting colder by the second.
Len lets out this just like distressed, like
Gurgle.
almost like a like gurgle, like just
Squidward.
ah! And
Can I?
yeah, he just he doesn't say anything more. He just sits there, just trying to work it through in his head.
Can I ask if, like, are you paying any attention? Because you also saw the light in her headband. Is that any connection or thought for Dr. Lin?
He's not going to think into it, like, because that's just not where his mind goes. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't see that and isn't like, oh, that might be like her soul being preserved in like technology form. He's like, she's dead. Like, we can think about like the magic light later.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's a question. Like Eisen has Zeha like directly against his body, and he's not wearing his armor right now. Can he feel like any sort of weird energy, like being in like physical contact? Is there anything there, or is it just cold, empty lifelessness?
Just bare chest.
Just literally a dead body.
Okay.
All right. Back to Moot.
As Tetsu had been over their shoulder, talking about looking at whatever he was looking at, Moat is hovering over the option to revert the damage that's been dealt. And I just want to know, like, intelligence check, whatever I can do. Does this seem like it'd be something that would require an additional check, or is this with root access something that we can just do?
Which one is this? Reverting the energy?
Yeah. Reverting the damage and preventing further.
I'll tell you, you kind of look into it immediately. You believe it's going to be, like, right at the first step, like, looking at it, you believe it's going to be just no check. You can revert the energy how it needs to be. And then you kind of, in the code as you're hacking, you see this little offshoot that just, it looks like a blip in the code. Just like you see this weird little flickering piece that, to you and the ability to recode, you believe is all intents and purposes saying that this energy is being sent somewhere, and you could track it with a check. Or you could just reverse the energy.
Oh.
Only Moat sees this currently.
What? I'm watching.
What's your computer's plus?
Plus 10.
What's your computer's plus, Moat?
14.
Only Moat sees this.
Get
Plus
smoked.
28. You suck.
That's how it feels rough.
You're not in primary position currently.
In Tetsu's what Tetsu sees, Moat is going through and seems to deliberately being headed towards the one section of code that was mentioned, and then just pauses
For a long time?
or maybe 2 seconds and looks back towards you and just says,
You see him looming a little bit closer.
I think we can track the energy, but it could get bad.
Do you want to do it, or should I?
I don't think you should. I just don't know if
I
this is going to be the
shouldn't?
same. Not in the state that you're in. I would
I
like
agree.
to. Oh. I'd like to return what's been lost and then potentially track.
I'll interrupt you there. You're pretty sure that once you return it, since the energy is no longer being sent out, you won't be able to track it.
Based on what they're
But
telling
I don't
me,
think we can.
based on what they're telling me and that like code beyond the code, do I think if we stopped tracking this and I fiddled with the code beyond the code, like with reverting the health or essence, like kind of make that option also not available?
No, it would still be available. It won't give you immediate access. It'll still be a check, but that will still be available.
Tetsu will kind of nod to Moat and go, there is a second option. I could try the magical code. I'm not very good at it, but there is more to this brute access. But if you were to reverse the essence drain on myself, I could take the risk first. And we could try hacks back to back.
I'm going
risky either way, but I can't help without almost certainly joining Zeha.
Dole, can you come over and help with this? We're gonna try something and we might need some extra help. Moat looks over to Dr. Len and I assume sees that Len is occupied.
And Len doesn't he looks like he's like almost frantically like examining Zeha's body, but like he doesn't make eye contact or anything.
Okay. So if Dole comes over, Moat just says, I'm gonna try to track the energy, see where it's heading, and then we're gonna revert everything.
Is that an option?
I will help as much as I can. You see that he's holding the core currently, but in the current situation with like Tetsu helping and everything, he's really just going to be kind of reading the code to you for like the read languages type of thing, or the read code, whatever. I forget what that spell is, but
Yep, comprehend languages basically.
okay.
Does that look like that's an option? Is to trace it and then revert health?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we just know that revert and then trace is not possible, but we know that revert and then magic code is possible.
I'll throw this out there too. This is, as I always say, this is definitely not to thwart you from going down this path, but Moat kind of looking into it a little more and making this decision would know that if you did track it, that there's no way that the other person on the other side would not know. They will definitely know that you found something out and that the Ghost Forge was like compromised.
And is all of this like when I first heard Carrick explain what Tetsu was doing, it was like looking for the signature of like Zeha's energy.
Yep.
So that's that mysticism check. So like is there a time concern with that?
They currently think so as characters.
Right.
I mean, I have not said so as a GM, or have not said not yet. There's been no checks that have brought that up yet, and I'm not saying that y'all haven't made the correct ones. I'm just saying that it has not come up in the computer yet.
All right, guys, let's back it up and make some time checks.
Nope.
Let's spend some time wasting time.
All right, you gonna try to track him up?
I will quickly say she might find out. Whoever was part of the future initiative.
She will be easier to find when she comes for us.
Joel, you guys got to be careful. All right. And I will begin.
All right.
Oh, wait. I automatically succeed at 80. Never mind.
There you go.
I rolled a 1.
So does Dole with the comprehend languages.
I rolled a 2 and a 1.
You have a +4. I need a computer's check.
I'm not panicking.
Real
It's
good.
only a
I
22.
didn't try.
I rolled a damn 8, so it's a 26
The cursed 8.
total.
Do you have any hero points?
I do.
Can I give him my one I just got? Or them?
Sure.
I mean,
And you're welcome
Shit,
to hold
like-
on to it if you want. You don't need to use it right now, because I imagine you'll be doing this again.
yeah, I don't think this is the right time for that necessarily.
This is less vital.
Okay.
Okay, give it back.
I rolled pretty poorly.
It's stale.
You take 13 max health points.
Oh,
How
Are you at
how you
3?
doing, Moat?
I was at
3?
23, but now I'm at
Okay.
10.
You can take another if Waffles minimum
but-
rolls.
At that point, I rolled very 17122.
Where was
At that point, I agree. At the point that you were at currently, though, you've done well for all intents and purposes. You could continue to push on. You would have a +10 base without aids to this next computer's check. And a success would obviously be no damage and you get in.
To track the energy.
Yes.
What do I get as a sense of the risk?
I'll tell
damage?
you. I'll tell you. The risk is damage, and the DC is 35. So mathematically, I think you have a decent chance of making it. Probably if you roll like a 5 or lower, you fail.
And aiding is possible for this, correct? Or is there no aid available?
No, there's aid. Since Tetsu and Dole automatically make it, it'll be 14.
plus
But
14. Yeah.
Dr. Lin won't be able to come up and help very quickly right now. I'm giving the player time to make the decision, but it's a snap decision on Moat's part.
This is the same DC that I had.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to roll a 7 at this stage.
You have a hero point. So does Zeha, but you have a hero point.
No, I think you're doing the math wrong. You have a +14 plus all your bonuses.
Yeah.
Right, plus 14 with just me.
Plus 14.
Plus 10 for them is a plus 14. It's plus 28, so I have to roll a 7 on the die in order to make it 35.
35.
Okay, you're right. All right. Well, your choice.
Means 1 through 6 are bad. You're fine. I have faith in you. Waffles wouldn't kill 2 of us with a computer.
Again,
we can kill ourselves.
Yeah,
this
we
is
can
a
kill
boss
ourselves with
fight.
this
It's
computer.
not a fight.
Do I think I would have the same success if I took over right here?
Rolled an 8.
Oh,
so
thank God.
that is a
Oh.
Okay.
36.
6.
Just barely there.
Holy
Tetsu.
hell.
Tetsu's pondering, like jumping in front of Moat as Moat just begins typing at the keyboard again. All right, Moat. You are able to kind of track through this code. You're able to... I'm not super good at computers, so I'm just going to say that you're able to somehow get like this kind of signature that comes through the coding and kind of lets you know where this is.
You have the galactic IP address.
Yeah, basically, you have
Get
the galactic
doxed,
IP
kid.
address. You don't like. It's not like you hear people or anything like that, but you have this galactic IP address, as we're now calling it, and it is originating from. Oddly enough to you, I always love that y'all make these decisions because it's always perfect. But because of the character Mo, it's originating from the Drift. Which is odd for Moat thinking. Moat knows a lot about the Drift. I don't know how much we've explained that, like in character and stuff. But for something to be originating from the Drift, one, it's very powerful. Two, it's likely, for all intents and purposes, like a home base in the Drift. It's not like especially when considering the Ghost Forge that's been active for so long. It's not like somebody jumped out of the Drift right now. So I'll put that together for you. I'm going to jump to Zeha real quick. Zeha, as you're basically pleading to not be here and everything, you hear, "It seems the future of the balance of the universe may hang on what happens here." And then you go to speak and you realize you can't. You go, you literally let out air, no air comes out, but you're not suffocating. Like you don't even feel your vocal cords vibrating. You're in a vacuum, but you're not dying for all intents and purposes. Like,
yeah, her mouth starts to go like, what? Like she just wants to say what? Out of just sheer confusion as to like what the heck is going on. And then it's just, honestly, all it does is set in the panic that she's already feeling worse, except because of this, like, the silence, she also kind of just, like, it's that panic that goes from, like, an outward panic to a frozen panic.
Yep. And you have this odd feeling throughout your body with this panic, and almost like sixth sense that this voice is just deciding to not allow you to speak. With your intelligence, you would know that if it can not allow you to speak, if it can just make that decision, could probably also just end your existence here. At that moment, what is Zeha thinking?
Honestly, like, sheer panic. I mean, she's not putting together complete thoughts at this stage. I mean, honestly, she was just trying to run and get somewhere, and just, she's not supposed to be here, and like and what you mentioned before, she doesn't exactly know what happened. She doesn't know that she succeeded to get root access. All she knows is that she was hacking, and now all of a sudden she's not there.
Yep.
I think like the snippets of thought that are running through her brain are a lot of just no's and denial. Then there's this like wild like animal trapped with the predator type thing the second she realizes like the power of this voice that's around her. So eyes wide, like cold sweat, if the being allows her to sweat.
Does not.
I mean, it definitely feels like you're sweating, but honestly, in the space that you're in,
Sure.
there's no sound, no real like energy coming from you, no vibrations, like your footsteps aren't making sounds, like nothing. It's just this vast emptiness of a vacuum.
Yeah, and I think at this point, like, she's not running anymore. She's stuck still. So I think her thoughts there's a brief kind of like questioning flash of like, where is everybody? What's the origin of this voice? And then like, does she remember hearing her grandmother's voice?
Yeah.
Okay. Then just like that kind of like for some odd reason comes to the very forefront of her mind all of a sudden. Like there's no rhyme or reason to her thoughts just flooding through, and then all of a sudden like the voice of her grandmother coming through. Am I able to try to remember what she said? I know it came in and out.
Yeah. Give me a mysticism check again.
24.
Okay. And again, it kind of comes in and out, but you hear, Zeha, for this,
It's kind of a tether she's holding on to out of confusion. So from the panic, she's just like, is my grandmother here? And she's going to try to almost hole up into herself and stem the panic by like holding on to this train of thought.
Okay. Kind of in your body again, the voice echoes, that sixth sense kind of sending reverberation, this like chills down your spine for a moment, and you hear, with everything, there is a price. We should help. Balance must be maintained. Others do beckon to be here. We can only present a choice, an opportunity. And in front of you appears 3 holograms. Your body lying on the ground. Jish's body standing with a gun out. And your grandmother. And that's where we'll take a break.
No.
Wait, what does that even mean?
Sorry. What?
Blah. Breakdown.
Good old Kingdom Hearts opening.
Oh my god.
Choose your starting equipment.
Holy moly. All right.
Guys, this is too hard. Let's just leave this planet.
Okay, so the words. I'm so like panicked and what is happening? All right, we're gonna go on break. We're gonna be back shortly. I am at the edge of my seat, so I hope you are as well to figure out what the heck is gonna happen next. Take care of yourselves. Refresh your drinks if you need it. Stretch. We love you.
Kill your players.
Kill your
Control
players.
your heart rate.
You need to breathe.
Breathe. Thank you. All the good things. It feels so out of touch, but I'm just gonna say it. Quick reminder: O&O is this Thursday, and this Saturday, Varso is GMing for Roll20Con. Okay, this is really awkward.
I am?
Okay, bye. We'll be right
Yeah, you
back.
should have told.
And we're back.
And we're back. All right.
I
let's
had
get
a
this
very bad
outcome
break.
done
Everyone judged
really-
me for eating porridge.
Again.
But what about
It's just wet
porridge
bread.
toast?
Did we go
It wasn't
less
the
than 10
porridge
minutes
part.
or more than 10 minutes? That's the question.
Oh,
It was
more?
11 minutes and some
Nope.
change.
Oh.
Somebody won a lot of A lot of points. I'm doing it. Boom.
That's enough to buy the rest of the lore drop.
I'm just
Bad.
saying, what a time. I mean, lore drop, I hear you. I see you.
I mean, it's going away if we don't get it.
Yeah, glitching the Matrix right now would be hilarious.
right now, yeah.
Why?
Oh,
So you
yeah.
get like a reverse colored scheme Zeha. You get a shiny Zeha in
I
return.
get a shiny
Is that what
Zeha.
happens?
Okay, all right.
The pink skin
All right.
Zeha. Ooh.
All right, we pick back up. In front of Zeha is 3 holograms. One of... Sorry, I'm getting interrupted by looking at this lore drop. This is at 9,000, and I definitely don't have one prepared, so I'll just be grabbing one off the side of my head here. All
The
right.
side, not the front, not the back. the
Tied?
side.
Top
No,
row,
it's
you
gotta
mean?
be the side.
Left or
I
right?
get headaches
Okay.
in the back of my head. So it's the left. It's the left side for sure.
All right, we're getting a left side brain lore drop.
Left side brain lore drop. That's the creative side, right?
Don't know. All I know is that we're delaying my choices here.
That's true. We're gonna continue to lay them. So in front of Zeha, there are 3
Lore
holograms.
drop.
One of her grandmother, one of Jish's body holding a gun, like actually standing upright, looks like it's a sentient thing, and one of her body laying on the ground, basically like dead in front of her, kind of thing.
Is my grandmother, like, it's her whole person?
It's like the last vision you remember of her.
Okay. Probably like one of the times she left around some
Yeah,
time.
so like literally for purposes, like think of the last time Zeha watched her leave prior to her death.
Yep.
She's wearing those clothes, dressed exactly like that to the T, kind of thing.
Okay. Jish's body, or Jish's figure, is it, you said pointing a gun, like at her, aggressive, like what do I get from that?
You kind of looking at it, and I'm going to go into a more mechanical choice type of thing in a few minutes, but looking at Jish's body, you get the sense that you would be kind of... So, let me take a step back. Looking at all 3 of these, you get the sense that picking one would require you to let the other 2 go.
Okay.
And thus, you're thinking of like Jish's body, you get the sense that picking that, you would be letting go your grandmother and your body on the ground. Now, it sounds like an easy choice at the beginning. You think about it more though. If you don't pick Jish's body, he's clearly a consciousness here. You don't know if that means you would have to fight him to get out. You don't know if that means you would have to, like, he may go somewhere else in the world and he knows everything that just went down.
With me.
With you, with everyone outside, the Ghost Forge. And he's clearly a sleeper agent, like.
Gotcha. So, and you're telling me if I pick my own body, I have to let my grandmother go?
Yeah, you just want me to read these to you here? Alright, I got this. You hear this voice echo through your head again. The choice presented. Embrace machine and let go of both your flesh and your past with no confrontation. Embrace the motion of the past and hope for a path to the future, though it may not be one you wish for. Embrace life in your own body and let go both of your past memories and present complications.
Memories?
Yeah, you say that, you don't get an answer. You kind of think on it for a second. You get the sense it's very specific memories of, like, your grandmother. Like, you're not going to just forget who Zeha is.
Or Diva? Oh, no, Zeha. Like, Zeha's
Zeha,
past.
yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to forget who yourself is.
And
But that starts to bring up questions in your head. who would Zeha be without her grandmother?
Yes. Yeah.
Who would
I
Zeha
don't-
be while being dead?
I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah. And while Zeha ponders it, Bo.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, just stew on that for a minute.
Yeah, just stew on it. Give it thought. These are good thoughts. Mo, I said you got a location in the drift. What you get besides that, because that's not all I'm going to give you for losing 13 max hit points. So what you get besides that is not only a location in the drift, you get a type of, you get like part of the code that you know you could enter into a tracking beacon, basically a drift signal, to arrive at that location. You also understand that this location is literally the sole purpose of the Ghost Forge, that it's been siphoning the energy, and that energy, the purpose that it's being siphoned for, is being used for something, one purpose, like very powerful. You can't really get past that, but like, you know, it's all being put into one thing, and you can only imagine like literally life soul type energy siphoned out of this many people for this many years, all being put to one purpose.
200 years.
I'm sure it's fine.
That needs to stop.
And we don't know if this is the only one either. I think that's.
But that's what you got.
Okay, so
I just had
if I'm able to generate this tracking beacon, is it something that I could replicate into any number of tracking beacons that we were able to purchase or I was able to create? Or is this like a one-time blip?
Moat knowing codes and engineering, you could definitely design something that's not a one-time blip, but you can't design something that's protected. And you imagine somebody that designed this kind of Ghost Forge that can siphon energy through the drift itself might endanger this kind of code if y'all did jump there. So it's like that hand toss up, like, yeah, it could last a lot of times if they don't destroy it immediately and jump away.
Okay, and clarify for me the choice I have right now. You said that we jump there. That is when we get back to a ship and have the option to travel to the drift, we'd be able to jump to that location in the drift.
Yep.
It's not like I make the choice and we all just like teleport there right now, right? I just want to make sure I have the wording correct.
Yep. It's a drift engine type signal kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Got it. I'm going to do everything I can to copy that down, basically.
Yep. Easy enough. Like you're in the code at this point, and you know you probably got like a minute before they realize it and likely cut connection. But that minute's plenty enough time for Moat to get what they need.
I have a question. Does Tetsu know that, like, hey, we've hacked into the signal and, like, they know that, like, we know that they'll see it?
Moat would have said that, yeah, like, she is likely to find out.
Right,
so
yeah.
that was the warning.
Kind of watching this code or just asking Moat, does it look like we could send some kind of, like, is there any communication that can happen over this thread?
I mean, you get the sense if you wanted to, you could definitely attempt to communicate.
It's possible. But
We could tell them to reverse the last half hour
why would they do that?
because I'm sure they've not had anybody find them before. And they don't want us looking for them.
What if they decide, someone found this? Well, I guess I'll just initiate the other hidden self-destruct sequence and make sure that nobody gets anything else out of the Ghost Forge. Why don't we just do what we know we can do and not risk playing with someone that has been secretly siphoning energy off these people for 200 years?
They wouldn't put that here, would they?
And this is the stark contrast between, like, what is it, 19 intelligence mode?
Tetsu's not dumb, but I mean...
No, he's not. No, not at
14.
all. But it's just like the ways
wisdom's where
each
it
of
comes
you
in.
are thinking is beautiful,
Yeah.
honestly.
I am not going to do that. I don't think that's a good decision. I think we need to revert anything we can, and if there's an opportunity for Zeha's soul to return, I don't know how this works, but might as well make sure that her body's ready for her.
Let us try.
I want to, then
Reverse
back
it.
up and do the reversal. Enact the, I guess, reversal protocol or something like that.
Reference to.
Did
Call
you
back,
write
time has
that down
passed,
to make sure
nobody's
you
ever
said
seen
it?
that.
No, I just
The
remembered
orc
the idiot.
outcome immediately activates from the pod.
How did they know?
Yeah, you do. You activate the reversal of energy,
Protocol.
and everybody that's taken max health damage besides Zeha gets all their max hit points back.
Besides.
Weird, I feel just as healthy as I did 2 seconds ago. It's a weird thing.
Does it affect Dole at all?
I just got.
I mean, nothing looks like it happens. Like, it's not like you guys see like light shoot through and into Tetsu or anything. You don't see Dole like take a step back, like, oh, I just gained 36 hit points. Woo!
I just gained 2 Zehas back.
Rude.
And then some, actually.
Rest of the party, what are y'all doing? Lynn, Eisen.
I think that Eisen specifically, while he is struggling, having been yelled at by Dr. Len, shook him out of his stupor a little bit. So he's just kind of trying to keep an eye on the surroundings and what everyone is doing, because he's not going to let anyone else die or do something stupid right when he watched someone drop and he couldn't do anything. Eisen, while still cradling Zeha, is being hyper vigilant about anything going on right now, because the least thing we need is someone attacking or someone doing something stupid. And so it's if Dr. Len is looking over her body and he can't really do anything, Eisen is just going into bodyguard mode, and he's going to tackle anyone he needs to tackle for whatever reason he needs to tackle them.
Alright, me and Mo continue to hack and do the stupid stuff.
For sure. I have a question for Eisen from a GM / what I'll call a listener standpoint. All this cradling and protection of Zeha, you said you weren't looking at her face. Are you? We've had the one scene with the dance scene. Are you imagining that this is Hikari?
It's both. Yes, definitely, without question. It's both people in his if you were to look from Eisen's eyes, I think it's overlaid if a 3D illusion when you don't wear glasses and the image is slightly broken up. There's
Sure.
There's the actual person that he's also concerned about, but there's also an unconscious Hikari in his arms, and he's not letting that person go.
Zeha still matters to him, but Hikari,
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Dr. Lin.
About this point, after probably having examined her 4 or 5 times over and not it just looks like she's dead. Len, I guess, is just gonna kind of shift away from Eisen and just lean up against the wall of the room they're in and just kind of sit there, just musing.
Okay.
Just kind of it's hard to describe how he's looking, considering he doesn't have any distinguishing features, but he's just kind of blobbed against the wall, just
Sure.
sitting there.
But you can describe what he's feeling, so how about that?
Oh, good idea. like finally that he's kind of had a moment to just like think about what's happened. He's not like Zeha, like pretty much Zeha was like probably one of the only people that like tried to like reach out to him to a degree. And if he didn't show it, he did kind of like he did care about her. So he's just like if he had any like troubles with accepting people's like care about him, he's just like, oh, this is what happens when you trust people. They either A, betray you, or B, die. This sucks.
No. Dr. Len, no.
This is an
Character
improvement, though.
No, it's not.
Better they die than betray you, you know?
Yeah, she didn't betray you. She just died horribly trying to save you. You know.
Not horribly. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, and that's like another thing. Like he was also trying to save him from something like he should have been more firm about. Like he should have not let this happen.
She chose to
right.
risk her
Even
life
though
specifically over yours. Like the group as a whole, but like you were next. So really like she stepped in before you and said, no, not you, me.
And that's what's really
You let her
like
down.
twisting that knife, right? It's like Dr. Lin had the chance to say, nah, I'll go.
Yeah, he could have, but he's not that firm of a person. Like he just let her do it because he wasn't willing to push back, you know.
And that's why Rin and Zeha walk all over Dr. Lin.
Exactly. So he's just thinking about all of his like past trauma and how this is another horrific thing for him to be haunted by.
Is he
And
feeling a
Squishy
lack of
carpet.
control? Like Rin made decisions behind his back and he had to deal with the repercussions. This time you let Zeha make the decision in front of you. Is there, although like you said there was more positive association with like Zeha's decision making and Zeha's like as a person with like your friendship, I'm assuming Rin had a good friendship with you as well at first, but is there like I'm just truly fascinated, like is there a grasping at like I need to take control of my situations or not yet?
Yeah, like no, that's exactly what's like going through his head. Like I need to be more like vigilant on these sorts of things. I need to like control what's going on and like make sure these things don't happen to me again. Granted, he's sitting against the wall like a blob currently while everyone else is like taking control of the situation. But
so
like,
things don't happen to me again, you said.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's very much like direct. I'm trying to like ask this in a not a leading way, like
Selfish.
Objection, leading questions.
yeah, like I guess selfish in its own way, like Zeha took another decision away from you. Like are you targeted, like is that where the mindset is, or is it like she took my decision away, or I shouldn't have let her die? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's thinking that he shouldn't have let her die. Because, like, he at least in this moment, his, like, mind is mostly on, like, this is more bad stuff to happen to me. It's honestly not so much, like, I miss Zeha, but, like...
Woe is me.
Yeah,
It's not about you,
like,
Zeha.
That's cool. I'm learning
Alright.
about Dr. Lin. I like this.
Back into the white
No,
space.
no, let's delay a little longer. Let's no.
Choices.
Choose.
You
Yeah,
see
how do you
all
want
of
your character
these-
to die?
You see all of these choices.
All right, I have a couple things. One, can you remind me what was the Jish choice?
Yeah, embrace machine and let go both of your flesh and your past without confrontation.
So is there the implication there that it's also memory for grandmother, or is there a different application there?
No, you get the sense that if you embrace Jish standing there, that you are actually embracing your existence within Jish's body.
Okay.
Her dogs are popping off on the bones down here.
Crunch. Okay. So there's two factors here. First of all, the voice that is speaking.
Yep.
I'm looking at these choices, and again, the dread just like fills me of the panic, like about to like take over logical thought again and things like that. So in a attempt at like avoidance of the situation directly in front of her, she's gonna like just tear her eyes away from these holograms and just like look around the white space. Who are you?
We can interfere no further. Allow us to put you at ease, and we will leave.
Is the voice familiar to me at all? Any
Not at all. It sounds like 2 to 4 overlapping voices. Like it's really hard to kind of make it out. But as they say that they're going to put you at ease and leave, you almost feel this overbearing presence just leave the room, and this entire like white place that you've been in this whole time changes to a very familiar. You can honestly pick the place on it because it would probably be your favorite place. The Adari.
Yeah, it's.
And you get the sense it's obviously another hologram, but it feels so real. Like wherever you are, if you're outside, there's wind blowing, you can smell it, like et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so the Ramsam 10 is underground of the gardens. So I think the place is definitely going to be actually the gardens above where the Ramsam 10 school is. And the place she would often hang out with her grandmother. And the holograms are still there.
Yeah, they're all standing in front of you. You still have that overbearing sense of like you don't see anyone else around you. You have this overbearing sense of like, if I walked this way, which I know would take me downstairs to the Ramson 10, I would end up back at the garden. Like you just know that, like in your heart.
There is the personal. So the thing that I'm struggling with right now is both the decision making, you know, obviously in and out of character, but also just really trying to think of like what this would do to Zeha and break her. It is like to have to make a decision like this. But there's a factor that I just recently thought of that I think like weighs into this is not just her selfish like wants. It's the culture of, like I talked about earlier, the Kasatha and like what has been instilled in her by her people, not just specifically the Ramsamtem and her training, is Kasatha are based on collecting experiences, collecting their life and deciding how they live their lives, and memory is sacred with the brain slice, as we're calling it, and all of that. So I think like staring these down, tears are like 100% just like streaming down her face at this point, as she like looks at her body. And then she turns to her grandmother and chooses her grandmother.
Okay. I'll ask as a GM, how do you choose? You just like point to you.
Is it life size?
Yeah.
She goes and she just like hugs her, yeah.
Yeah, and you, like, oddly enough, you could swear you're about to run through this thing, and you do for like inches, like 4 or 5 inches, and then you feel this resistance, and you're kind of like bounced back out of the hologram as if it owns some space, as if it has some matter. You watch these other 2 holograms disappear, and as you're watching them, you watch a body kind of dissipate, and then you see this blue light shoots off to the right. You watch Jish dissipate, and you see this red light shoots off to the left, as if they're going somewhere else. And you're sitting there hugging your grandmother for a second, and you feel this hand come on the back of your head, and you hear, "It is okay, little one. We will get through this. Allow me to," and you hear the voice kind of cut off right there at "allow me to." On the other side of everything, you guys watch Zeha's headband. If anybody pays any kind of intelligence attention, the light shoots the opposite direction across her headband. And you see it stay lit, this bright blue light. And as unbelievable as it could be, you sense some sort of life energy within her body.
I instantly call out to Dr. Len, like, because I'm holding her, so I would immediately both feel like the shift of energy and see the light. And I'd be like, something's changed.
Right.
Dr. Len, now. I need a charge now.
All right. You need a charge. How do I charge
shoot
you?
Me.
Shoot
Mo,
you.
Shoot me now. With that gun. Shoot me now.
Shoot him.
Fuck. Pulse caster goes.
I'm not wearing armor, so it hits, I assume.
Probably.
Ready to be shot, Zeha.
Yeah, give me an attack roll for.
Double
we have critical failure cards. So.
Oh.
20 to hit.
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
I take 0 damage, but I increase that. I roll a d4 for my own amplify ability.
Okay. So basically, for story's sake, I honestly don't care about the numbers and the mechanics of this, but for story's sake, you're taking electricity damage, kind of absorbing it, amplifying it, and probably going to release it back out, right?
Yes, directly into Zeha to try to get her to not die.
All right, I'm on freeze frame here. Eisen and Dr. Lin are on Zeha's body currently. Moat turned around to shoot Eisen. Tetsu, what are you doing? Because you know that for all intents and purposes, you probably have a limited time on this computer, even if you gained root access.
Yeah.
It is a living code.
Yeah, Tetsu's like kind of, his eye definitely glances in that direction, but he's mainly, since the moment this happened, his attention's been on that code. So and I will remind the DM for out of character reasons, Jish is on his back still, as C-3PO. So
yep,
if it moves, anyway, he definitely glances in that direction, but like he's looking at the code. He's still convinced like Zeha is in the computer somehow. So I don't know if anything weird has blipped there, but if not, Tetsu's going to start typing to do that hack that we'll see.
What
he's
hack?
got full that hack to the master code, because you said that's what I think would be the magic Zeha
The
essence.
computer magic thing that's both rolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a hero point and all my hit points, so
We might trade one for the other here.
now I'm full health. It's good.
All right.
Or I'm dead.
Give me
So I don't know what I'm
a
doing.
computers and a mysticism roll.
Can I tell Dole and just say, Dole, focus? And
Yeah, Dole like glances towards Zeha's body. It's like, for the scene, you guys like watch a finger twitch and maybe like the shortest gasp of breath, like you hear like, and
That's
Dole
just
like starts to look over there, and you tell him to concentrate, and he looks back over at you. Yes.
help with this code. And he's kind of like gesturing towards the bit that he's about to dive into. Computer part, I'm less nervous about. The mysticism, I'm sensing a hero point spent. Natural 20 on the computers.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's the computers, so...
All right. He was
that's a
helping computers.
32.
All right. So 34.
30... No. I added...
32 with him helping? Okay.
Yeah. Because I have a plus 10.
He is also helping the mysticism.
Okay, I'm not trained, so that's good.
Yeah, he auto helps.
Well, with his help, it's a 9. So I'm going to go ahead and... It's a 7 plus... I'm going to reroll. I'm going to spend my last hero point. It's better. It's 11 plus, so 13.
So 13 plus
13.
32 is 45.
40.
22.
Divided by 2 is 27. Nope, I'm just kidding. It's 22.
59.
59. 22. All right.
Hut.
Not great, but...
That natural 20 helps. It could be worse.
Hey, I'm not going to complain about a natural 20.
We'll take those.
Yeah, I will take that. I'll take the damage. Come on, give me some trade-off. Let's use that now.
What damage? You have 5 max hit points.
Well,
I
no, he
have
has them all back.
41 max hit points.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
That's why I
forgot you
did
got 'em all
this.
back.
Waffles was thinking he was just gonna
Not
murder you.
suicidal.
I literally thought he was dead. So I forgot that y'all got hit points back. I was like, he's got 5 max hit
Tetsu's
points.
happy to take risk, but he is not like full-on suicide unless like there's a purpose.
I mean, because let's be fair.
Oh, I know.
You're messing with the code, which instead of 5d8 is 5d10.
Oh.
Well, you
So
can
you're
kill
saying
me.
there's a
Here
chance.
comes the max
You're
roll.
saying
Here
there's a
comes the max roll.
One
Here
by
comes the
one.
max roll.
One by one.
Pause. Don, are you in chat? Come on, this is your chance, man.
I have a hero point, right?
Just glitch the matrix.
You have a bunch of hero points, and I will let you use them on the hit
I'll
dice.
spend at least one. If I roll a 1, I'm spending at least 1. What are your max hit points?
41. So at 5d8 couldn't kill me. 10d8
That's not horrible.
has a chance. No,
5d10.
5d10.
10d8 definitely could, but this is 5d10. So
right. I was saying 5d8 couldn't kill me. 5d8 can.
Stop
or 5d10.
delaying.
Sorry, 5d10
Stop
can.
delaying.
all right. Let's do what we did for
Says
that.
you,
Right?
miss. I don't want to pick a body.
First die. I'm at a 7. That's pretty good.
7?
If I roll all
Alright.
7s, so you wouldn't die. Okay.
Gotta rip
I
it
don't
out.
know.
Ooh,
Nice.
let's go to 10.
17.
And-
All right.
Oh, here we go.
Feeling
Here we
great.
go.
Feeling great.
Waffles is on
All
fire.
healthy.
Come on.
Oh my god.
Okay.
All right.
No.
Yeah, chill
No.
out there, buddy. Chill out.
Look, I have only ever killed a character with this hat off, so I gotta take my hat off. Hold on.
Oh no.
Oh,
Let's
no.
do this. I like this. Come on. Let's keep it suspenseful.
Oh, no.
Get to the last dice.
You
It's a
can finally
25 so
silence
far.
Carrick.
Right.
Oh, no,
Okay.
two.
Ooh, that's
Wait, you're
easy.
hero
Hero
pointing?
pointing. He's hero pointing.
No,
He's hero
no,
pointing.
This is
Just
the
one.
one hero point I said I would do.
No, he said he was gonna save it for one.
Oh.
16,
So it's 33.
26,
No.
38.
No.
All right.
Wait, how much?
Wait, what
What's,
do you
what's
got?
your
What do you
max
got?
health?
What do you
I
got?
mean,
means
an 8 or higher
eight
kills me.
or higher kills Tetsu.
No.
Oh,
7.
Down to 1.
oh,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
the.
Oh,
What is
we
wrong
are going
with
to
us?
Elseworld
What is
next,
wrong?
people. Say how's me. Yeah, let's go.
This is why we're here, right? This is why we roll dice. You have 1
Oh.
max hit point left after gaining all your max hit points back.
Dude,
love that
my
both
heart
of these rolls came
cannot
down to the
take
last
this.
dice.
Do you understand?
Dole punches you
Hey,
for 2
that's
hit points and you die.
ridiculous.
Have you considered that
I'm
if
touched by a
Zeha
god.
is not back, we can totally go with the black butterfly to
Yeah.
Elfworld.
Yeah,
She
but
can't swim anymore.
I'm saying with her back now after this, she owes me. So either way, I get to go to Elfworld.
Oh my
Now I feel less guilt
freaking
about it.
God.
Alright,
Also,
alright.
on a side note, I do hate to say this, but my energy is weird, and I did just
No.
pour a lot of it into Zeha to keep her alive. So
No.
let's see what happens.
That's
Well,
true.
she's
That's true.
electrical, Zeha.
Zeha comes alive beforehand, then the electricity kills her
Kills her.
again.
Yeah.
Alright, Tetsu,
Restores right as you deliver 10d10
you're
damage.
literally hacking into this like master code. What's the purpose of this for you?
It'll be great if you tell me this doesn't work. The purpose was, so Tetsu, he saw all like these lights and like he understands what this computer and whole system's set up to do, like what it's naturally set up to do, and also kind of what it was like rigged to do, which is like siphon energy, use it to a purpose, and you know, sometimes you can recover like data and information, like if you do it right away, or like the last bits, like Control Z basically. He's essentially trying to Control Z Zeha back into existence, right? So that's why he was acting so quick. He saw this happen, saw the light, and just wasn't sure if the light maybe backed her up or did some kind of like neural save, and then he figured, all right, Zeha and us went into the computer in some fashion. I don't know how it works, but if I can delve deep enough, fast enough, maybe I can catch her, metaphorically speaking, before she's gone. So he's essentially trying to catch her in the code before she doesn't exist.
I'm gonna hit you with that faded. You can't do that.
Everything about you I hate.
But that's just not. Sorry, that is not in the scope of this adventure.
1 hit point.
The
The god said I could.
This is. I agree. 1 hit point. You spent a lot to get here, and I think you're gonna get a lot back. What you do
3 level up.
track through this code are 2 separate things at the same time. One, you do find Zeha's existence within this code.
Okay.
And her actual like life's essence
Super.
within this code. And almost immediately, again, you rolled a mysticism check for this. Almost immediately that strikes you as a little odd. Like just literally her, like, you know, the life is being siphoned to another place, but hers is being held within this code. And up until now, minus y'all's like air quote max hit points, you haven't found like Jish's life's not in the code kind of thing. So you continue.
I don't think that far.
You're thinking this far right now with your 1 max hit point. So you continue. First, you figure out that this code is basically unlike anything you've seen or heard of, to the fact that it, 1 is living, and 2 is like Grace, but 3 is, because you've seen like Zeha, and you've probably talked to Zeha and Mode about like Grace's code kind of thing when all that came up, but 3 is beyond Grace. This is, think about Grace 3.0, not even 2.0, but like Grace 3.0. This is
I was thinking Grace 2.0.
vastly advanced from Grace, if not just out of the realm of I'll air quote human capability. Obviously not just human, but alien capability. 2, I said you found Zeha's life essence. You find it there, and you're just tracking this code. You're able to read it with Jish's help, and you see that there is this kind of I don't code a lot, so I don't know. Syrup can probably help me. But there's this there's a lot of, I forget the words for it, but there's this like yes and code, or like yes this happens, yes
It's a
this
lot of
happens, yes this
branching
happens.
statements.
Conditional.
Basically, yeah. There's like
Conditionals.
there's like these branching conditionals. And you see that Zeha is basically at this branch of forks and conditionals. And you, through all of this, have the opportunity. You see her latch onto one. And you can basically, reading this code, I'm gonna matrix it here for a second. Reading the code, you literally see pictures. And you see like her grandmother, Jish, and her body. You see her latching onto one and like reaching out for her body as well. And you have the chance to reroute either Jish or her body towards her.
I delete Zeha. No.
No.
I copy her on a
What
flash.
would Tetsu, not character?
Tetsu. So I see her reaching out. Like, I get the sense that there is an essence of Zeha, and if I can basically link her up to the body one, I think that will maybe put her in her body. Like, download this into her body or something.
Yeah, you think for all intents and purposes she's being put in her body, but you get the sense that it's too weak for a reason, and there would be a lot of fight with it currently, with her current choice.
Okay, and what am I losing with Jish?
You don't know. She knows, but you don't know.
I don't remember, so it's fine.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, don't metagaming. Get out of here.
I can't. I forgot.
Metagamer.
Metagame.
Yeah, I mean,
But you do actively see Zeha
yeah,
choosing the code of her grandmother, and for all intents and purposes, also like reaching her fourth arm out to her body.
yeah, and Tetsu is one who, unlike Carrick, always puts like the good, like the people he wants to look out for before the people he wants to get revenge on, or like bad people. So Tetsu would just without hesitation just link her up to like both Grandma and Zeha, and whatever the Jish shit is. I mean, he's got C-3PO on his back. He's got that figured out. So he'll just link them up and hope that's what brings her back complete.
But
Download all files, no files missing.
now we talked about what Carrick would do. We talked about what Tetsu would do. Now what about Monk Butu?
Monk Butu wouldn't be
Smash.
here. All right, Monk Butu would be like,
He'd have yoinked the
Control
Dolium and
delete. Control
Smash
A.
computer.
yoink the Dolium, grab the cred stick, and been like, nerds out.
All right. Okay. I love the fact that you said without a second thought, because without a second thought,
Die?
Workspace. No, reroute this code to Zeha's body. Mo, give me a perception check.
oh shit.
Or computers. I'll let you pick.
I choose computers.
Okay.
Jesus,
Man, you
Grandma,
are-
that's I'm rolling horrible tonight. 18.
That's a
All right.
hero point right there.
Dr. Lin, give me a medicine check as Eisen transfers this electricity into Zeha's body as a defibrillator kind of thing, and you are attempting to like help him do it both slowly and in the correct place.
Does a 30 work?
30 was the DCs, huh?
Oh, seriously? Let's go.
All right, so
I
all
am
of
the
this plays out at the
doctor.
same time. Zeha, you have your arms. Hold on. Sorry, my dog is
Meanwhile, Tetsu,
destroying a bone.
in like this next like half second, is just as he hits the enter button, is just collapsing in slow-mo to the ground of 1 hit point left. Fucking done. He's like, 5 hit points is rough. 1 hit point.
Not just that, 5 hit
Been a
points,
big day.
back to full, down to 1. What a roller coaster.
Oh,
And actually,
roller coaster of
Tetsu,
emotions.
Tetsu, give me a computers check real quick.
Oh god.
Can
I
you
don't
not
want to
begin?
die, Waffles.
Another
This
instance
isn't how I die?
DC is Moat's computer check.
Oh.
Oh,
Then I beat
okay.
it. 21.
Okay. All right. So this is what happens. Zeha, you have your arms wrapped around your grandma's body, and she has her arm on the back of your head, basically saying like, "We'll figure this out together. Like, thank you for making this choice. Like, we'll figure this out together." Like, you, for all intents and purposes, you just feel this sensation of your headband just warm on your head, and you know that your grandmother is speaking to you in this moment. And what do you feel? Like, making this choice, you watch your body shoot off in this blue light. You watch just shoot off in this red light.
She's absolutely crushed. Like, she's not like she's regretting the decision. She's just needing to in all of a couple minutes have all the realizations crash down on her of like she can't make any other choice. It's not just her grandmother that she'd be losing. It would be like her sense of purpose and her like it would be everything that is important to her and her culture. Like, she cannot make any other choice. And the reason, like I said, her, like, she had tears streaming down her face, and she kind of like almost collapsed towards her grandmother, just kind of like letting out a choked sound, is because she knew like she couldn't keep thinking about it. She had to make that as an impulse decision. And the second that she kind of like, and she's hugging her, but like she almost is like falls down on her knees and is like hugging her with her like face in her stomach or whatever. She made the decision and now is just feeling that like loss, that like this is what that decision meant, as she watches her body like shoot off.
Yeah. And at the same time, we're seeing Dr. Lin and Eisen and basically everyone in the room see a little bit of life come back into Zeha's body, but like it's almost like Carrick, I won't say Tetsu, but like Carrick said earlier, it doesn't matter. It's a slight breath. It's like those after death like jitters and gasp the twitches and gasp that you get, like, but you hear this like coming from Zeha. You see a twitch of her finger. You think she's alive. You watch Eisen, with the help of Dr. Lin, a couple of tentacles here, a couple of tentacles there, like words in the back of Eisen's head, like slowly, okay, now shock. And like you watching Eisen basically become this defibrillator. You watch Tetsu hit this last button, and Tetsu and Moat first, and then Tetsu because he met Moat's DC, see what looks to be some sort of virus with a signature on it. Signature very similar to what Moat has been known to use. And you watch as you hit this last button, Tetsu, you get to recognize this. Only y'all two recognize it. But you hit this last button. You definitely did your job. And you watch the code. Delete. All of it.
The whole Ghost Forge?
Did we
The
break
entire
Ghost
code
Forge?
for the Ghost Forge. And then you watch this. Zeha, you watch this blue light come shooting back through. And you watch it very like slow motion. Comes through your grandmother's body. Into yours. Like basically into your chest. This electricity, because of all these rolls, shot through you. You wake back up, gasp. 1 hit point. You have all your max health back. And that's what will end the session.
Yeah, you suck so much.
Holy fuck!
We
I
can
broke
tend
the
to race.
world for you.